Hey Capricorn, welcome to your weekly forecast for March 9th through the 15th. We're going to see what's happening the week ahead for you all with this lovely deck here. And then we're going to pull an angel message for you guys from this deck here. We've got a full moon happening on the 9th, and this is going to be a full moon that is going to end a lot of situations for a lot of people, but also open the door to new beginnings. So it might be very fast moving energy for a lot of people right now. We're also coming out of Mercury retrograde, so we're going to see how these energies are going to be affecting Capricorn sun, moon, and rising in the week ahead. Alrighty, my dears, here is your Monday, Tuesday, your Wednesday, Thursday, and your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday is Messenger of Earth. And so this is going to be very appropriate for Capricorns because it's definitely Earth energy, and you guys are an Earth sign. And so this could be about you and, you being in your element. Typically, this is going to be about forward movement. Forward movement, that is something I kind of associate with committing or commitment. So some long-term plan where you're beginning to take steps, moving in a direction, an action plan for the future. Now, the Messenger of Earth, or the Knight of Earth, or Knight of Coins, or Knight of Pentacles, is going to be the slowest moving knight in the tarot. So whatever's happening Monday, Tuesday, it's a long-term plan. And when it's the slowest moving knight, it's not slow in a negative way. It's actually slow moving because it's very thorough. It's building and creating something very powerful, very strong, very long lasting. You don't have to double check the Messenger of Earth's work because it's solid, it's consistent, and it's durable. It's going to last the test of time. But first, a commitment must be made. A decision needs to be made, and where you're deciding to commit your time and energy and that you're going to put one foot in front of the other, you're going to succeed. The message here with the Messenger of Earth is that you cannot fail at this as long as you're consistent, as long as you don't give up, as long as you don't walk away from it, right? So because we are in the Mercury retrograde energy, some of you may be bringing back something from the past, an idea or something you had worked on before that you had given up on. I know a lot of Capricorns had a really rough patch, and I have said this in the past few videos because it does come up, and Scorpios did as well. I'm not a Capricorn, I'm a Scorpio sun, but Scorpios also had a really, really rough patch for like 10 to 12 years because of that last cycle Saturn was in up until about maybe a couple of years ago. And so a lot of Capricorns are coming out of that heaviness fairly recently. And as we're coming out of this Mercury retrograde energy, some of you might be revisiting old plans or projects or things that you had given up on, whether they're inventions that you had, or ideas for apps, or ideas for businesses, or ideas for some kind of creative project you were wanting to put out there, or a business you were wanting to start, or a career change you were going to be working on, or just a passion project that you felt was going to bring you more fulfillment. You may have started in on it, but then life happened, things happen, and it may have fallen by the wayside. But you might be making a decision that, I feel really called to do this. This is what I feel like is going to bring about positive change. And so you might be making a commitment within yourself Monday, Tuesday to stay this course, to go in this direction. I do feel for some of you, you are staying the course and making a decision. You are choosing to commit to yourself. So I just feel there's a sense of like no with this card, but you're the one saying no. You're the one saying no Monday, Tuesday to someone or something that is taking you away from this plan or this commitment or this decision you have made for yourself. And you're saying, you know what, in the past, I let other things get in the way. I'm not going to let them get in the way this time. I'm going to stay focused. I'm going to stay consistent. So there's an energy of commitment or committing to oneself when I see the Messenger of Earth. Your next card here is Hermit. Okay, this is a major arcana card. All right, it could indicate for some of you there's a Virgo at play here. There could be a Virgo in the mix or a Virgo coming in midweek that's going to be a significant part of your process. It could be you and you coming into your Virgo power if you have Virgo in your chart somewhere. However, I will say this, sometimes if we are looking at this astrologically speaking, zodiac speaking, it could be somebody's moon or rising, and we don't always know that. And I've said this before in the past. I know a Taurus who's a Leo moon, and he always shows up in readings as the strength card, right? But if you didn't know that he was a Leo moon, you wouldn't know that that was indicative of him. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like to get too much into the zodiac or the astrology, because we don't always know somebody's moon sign or rising sign. So if you don't have any Virgos coming in midweek, I don't want you to be quick to dismiss every connection that's coming along. But overall, Hermit is going to be a card that indicates going within, kind of finding yourself, finding your higher connection. Some of you might be feeling very called to come into some line of spiritual teaching or leading or guiding others down, through changes and through a path. I do feel, however, a strong sense of teaching. So I feel some of you are feeling called to put together some kind of workshop or some kind of a plan or path where you feel like you're going to help people make changes or walk a road that you have walked. Some of you maybe are stepping into a role as a spiritual teacher or seeking out a spiritual teacher, but I am feeling a strong sense of education here with this, a strong sense of education. Like some of you are wanting to teach or to be taught. But for many of you, the Hermit is going to be more so where you're beginning to really enjoy your alone time. When the Hermit card comes up, somebody is taking some time away from others, but it's not out of sadness. It's not like this depression. It's not like this, oh, nobody understands me. It's this pleasure that they're receiving in the solitude. It's this pleasure that they're receiving in the alone time, and they're connecting with the higher self. A lot of the times when I see the Hermit, it's the caterpillar going into the cocoon, transforming into the butterfly. I feel some of you are doing things around your home to make it more welcoming, to make it more inviting, to make it more comfortable, creating some sense of like your little lair. And I feel like a lot of you are just kind of releasing a lot of the past and coming into authentic self. I feel like some of you are piecing together some kind of a family, I don't know if I want to say secret, but, feeling there is something the previous generation did not tell you. Whether you're suspecting who your biological parent was, or whether you're suspecting if you were adopted, or whether you are suspecting there's something that went on that you were not told about or was kept from you. I feel some of you are spending some time alone and you're digging and figuring it out. Some of it may start off with some repressed memories that are coming up where you're like, wait a minute. And when I say repressed memories, I want to clarify, I don't necessarily mean it's a traumatic memory where like something really terrible happened. It could just be something that you hadn't remembered until now, and it's coming to the surface and you're like, wait a minute, this is interesting. Like, why would I be remembering this? This is a clue here. Like my subconscious is giving me the clue to something. So it might start off with memories coming to the surface, and then you might start maybe asking around, and then you may even start looking into public records to try to piece together, maybe you're looking for news articles, or maybe you're looking for property transfers, or, whatever you can find in the public records. But I feel like some of you are piecing together and finding answers to questions that you feel like your family hasn't given you or hasn't shared with you. Some of you, for some reason, which is interesting because the Hermit is not necessarily a card that, we would associate with being a detective, but that's the vibe I'm getting for some reason. And it could have to do a lot with you coming into your authenticity and you coming into your connection with your higher power. Maybe for some of you, you're going to have some kind of a journey along those lines. Now, keep in mind, the Hermit card is a major arcana card. So this isn't something that's going to last you 1 day or 2 days. This is a big crossroad. This is a big energy shift. This is something that's going to be following you for a while, for a few months, maybe even a year for some of you. And so for this reason, it might be starting or setting into motion with this hermit energy in the middle of the week, but it might be following you for a while. Some of you are deciding, making a conscious decision or a choice to take a break from dating because you're telling yourself like you have some really big goals and you feel like the people that are around you right now can't measure up to those goals or can't keep up with those goals. So you're telling yourself, you know what, let me get this thing established and then I'll think about dating because I don't want the distractions right now and I want somebody who's going to be on my level. So for some of you, I feel that element as well. Your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is Queen of Air. And sure enough, my darlings, this is definitely a card about boundaries and cutting people or situations off. Queen of Air is in the energy where it's like she knows where she's headed. She knows what she's trying to do, what she needs to get done. And you need to either be on the same page and be of helpfulness in that process, or you need to get the heck out of the way. Right? She's Queen of Air is not going to suffer fools. She doesn't have time for foolery. She doesn't have time for anything that's going to get in her way. And that's already the theme that we started off with, Capricorn. So a lot of you are going into this week very focused, very driven, very clear about what it has been a distraction in your life or who has been a distraction in your life. I feel some of you fell into the trap. Sometimes this happens, you guys. When we're on the spiritual path and we're trying to be better people, we really, really try to put others first. And we really, really try to be very selfless and non-judgmental. And unfortunately, when we're in that energy and when we're kind of new to being in that energy, we can attract people who take advantage or who are very needy or who are very clingy. And some of you may be beginning to see this and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be more balanced. I can still be a spiritual person. I can still be a loving person, but I could still have boundaries and I can still tell people no. And I can still be guarded with my energy. And so some of you are finding that balance in that way. For some of you, the Queen of Air isn't necessarily about cutting out people. It might be cutting out certain habits or hobbies that you're realizing have been kind of time consuming, right? Maybe there's just something that you've been doing to blow off steam or to just kind of relax. And you're realizing that, man, when I do that, I tend to fall down the rabbit hole. Like I might sit down and say, I'm going to watch YouTube for a little bit, and before you know it, you've been on YouTube or you've watched TV for like 5 hours, and you're like, whoa, I didn't get a chance to work on that project today, or I didn't get a chance to go for a hike, or I didn't get a chance to, do meal prep or whatever it is you've been trying to do. So you might be cutting out certain activities. Or I don't know if you hear like kids screaming. All these kids showed up all at once. Maybe there's gonna be kids around you, Capricorn. I don't know what to tell you. So I don't know if the mic's picking it up or not. But there's a whole lot of kitties. Sound coming through the walls. But so it might not be, or you might just be more rigid or more disciplined with your time. Some of you are coming up with some kind of schedule where you're saying, okay, I'll watch YouTube or I'll watch TV, but only from this time to this time. Like you're getting your action plan together and you're beginning to take action. You're becoming very clear about not letting anything distract you. You're very, very focused, whatever this is that you all are trying to work on. Let's go ahead and see what your angel message is for the week. And, for those of you that you do want more love life stuff, I would suggest watching the love videos. I keep those separate on the channel. I would also suggest watching your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some weeks those may resonate with you more than others, or they may add a little extra information. Those can be helpful. And if you would like a private reading, you can click on the Calendly link and schedule one there. All right, I love this card. And this is such a good card for Capricorn. You guys have Goddess of the Shadows. What you perceive to be your dark side holds a hidden treasure. The reason why I say this is such a good card for Capricorns is Capricorns, I know many, many Capricorns, many Capricorns actually. I grew up around Capricorns. And so I have seen something about the Capricorns in my life, or the Capricorns that I have known. They can be very hard on themselves, right? You guys can be in this energy where You feel like something has to be perfect, or you can't hand it over. Like in a work situation, you might feel like it has to be perfect. And somebody commented one time that, oh, I must be a terrible Capricorn because I've never accomplished anything. But that's still like a Capricorn energy too, because some people, they're so afraid of not being perfect that they won't even try. Capricorns, a lot of the Capricorns I know, and I'm not trying to stereotype, but a lot of you seem to put a lot of pressure on yourself, like to be like just the best possible that you can be, right? There's always like a way of trying to be better or to do better. Kind of similar to Aries in that way. But this card is telling you that the things that you're perceiving about yourself to be like weakness, or the things that you're perceiving about yourself to be dark or negative, actually holds hidden gifts, actually holds hidden treasures. The things that you're beating yourself up about the most actually is a tool that you can be using to bring about change in the crossroad that you're finding yourself at here with this Hermit card, this Queen of Air or Queen of Swords. It's actually going to work in your benefit and in your favor. I would encourage you guys to take a look here at the different chakras and see which one is jumping out at you, and maybe do chakra work in that particular chakra. That might be one place where you need a little extra energy or a little extra clearing. You can Google and you can look up meditations or affirmations for that chakra, or guided meditations or things of that, that extent. So this is going to be your root chakra. This is going to be your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, this is the third eye, right? And this is the crown. So think about which one's jumping out at you most. You might be able to heal something. The snake here too is not meant as a scary thing. I know in the Western culture, or here in America, or some other cultures, the snake can be seen as something scary or dark or evil. But actually, snake has a lot of symbolism of healing, of being healing, right? They would make a lot of snake oils and things like this back in the day for medicines or medicinal purposes. So one of the meanings of snake is healing, as well as to transform. The snake sheds its skin, right? So it's here as like a positive. It's not here like to scare you or to creep you out in terms of symbolisms. So you might be shedding your skin, and just the things that you've been trying to water down or edit, you're allowing them to come to the surface because you're realizing they're not so bad, right? They're not so bad. They're actually strengths. And I always say this, whether you're a stubborn person or a determined person, depends on whether or not the people around you believe in your cause, right? If I'm trying to raise $1,000 to donate to children's hospitals and helping sick children, and I won't give up. I'm being very tenacious. I'm doing whatever I can take. I'm knocking on doors. I'm haggling with people, or I'm being really persistent. Somebody might look and say, wow, look at her. She is so determined. She's so passionate. She's so focused. They might think, wow, like how admirable, how hard she's working to do this. But if I'm trying to raise $1,000 because I want to go buy a bear suit and walk 50 miles for some publicity stunt, right? Because I think in some way it's going to benefit some business or some idea I have, and I'm just haggling, and I'm just being very persistent, and I'm knocking on doors, and I'm bringing it up with friends and family, and I'm just trying to come up with this money to pull off this stunt that nobody believes in. They're going to be like, wow, she's so stubborn. Why can't she get it through her thick head that this is such a terrible idea, or this is going to go nowhere? Meanwhile, maybe it would have been a good idea. Maybe in some way, on some level, it would have worked, right? But they don't see it. They don't understand the value of it. Therefore, they're going to look at me and say, I'm so stubborn. I've got such a thick head, So the same quality can be described in two different ways, depending on if somebody is on the same page as you or not. And Capricorn, you're beginning to see this. You're beginning to realize this, and you're beginning to be more accepting of yourself. Okay, watch your moon, sun, and rising sign. Like I said, private reading you can schedule on the Calendly link. And don't forget, guys, every single day on Instagram and Facebook, Amethyst Angellight, I post a card of the day. I post a pick a card. Make sure that you like and follow on there so that you can take advantage of those free daily messages that I post as well. Full moon is coming in, lots of endings and new beginnings. I will post a bath video in my community tab, like how to make a little full moon bath or a little sea salt scrub if you can't take a bath. I did that video so long ago. I know it might be hard to find, but I will load it in the community tab when I'm able to get caught up and have all of the weekly forecasts posted. Angel messages will start getting posted tomorrow morning. I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, and commenting. Take care, my dears.